Fuck the greatest, man. We ain't got to run the whole song, man. I don't care how many people watching, how many people. I don't even care. We got a grand in here. That's enough. Hey. I made a U-turn. I was going to the mall. About to shoot my music video for my shit. Going to the mall real quick. Putting on some shit like on my like through my car speaker, and I'm like, damn, I played all these songs already. I popped in a podcast. You know what I mean? I heard some crazy shit. So I said, get back to the brim, nigga. Anyway, I'm only here streaming because I didn't even finish listening to it, but I already got back to the crib already. But Charlamagne and Andrew Schultz, they dropped some brilliant idiots episode, and I just saw some wild, flagrant, left field, incorrect, paint the narrative shit, and that's not gonna be handled that way. Cause I'm gonna straighten out the narrative. That's what I've been doing. I'm always keep it 100 and never be lying on people, whatever. Y'all don't know. I think there was some miscommunication recently, and of course I clarified it because I'm not a liar. You feel me? Some shit with Tekashi going on Breakfast Club saying, "Yo, Axe, you down with the scum again?" Which I never told that nigga, right? But he was trolling. And, you know what I mean? I didn't want Charlamagne to feel no type of way, so of course I hit him up. I haven't talked to him in months. But I hit him up, I said, yo, trust me, what the real truth, me and you both know, that nigga, I also told him the real truth. He just elaborated. But, you know what I mean? This is not no like crazy type of vibe, like fuck you type of shit, even though I did play the Pac. Salute to my nigga Pac. But I just wanted to run through this joint real quick. I want to listen with y'all and just kind of clarify shit off the rip. I don't need no time to prepare. I just off the top of the head. But I was hearing way too much shit, and I was like, this is going on challenge? And I know they got a whole platform just like I got a platform. I'm like, listen, what's my motto? Listen, when y'all cross Akademiks, there will be no good that come to y'all until y'all, you know what I mean, at least do right by him. Okay, so I'm going to play this joint, and I don't care if you understand what's going on. This is really for YouTube. I ain't going to lie to you. Okay? Let me just hop into this shit. Fuck is this? SoundCloud is so trash.
Hey guys, I'm Grammy-winning audio engineer Austin Asimov.
Fuck out of here.
I work with the band The War on Drugs and the recent hit album.
Nobody trying to listen to your dumbass shit, War on Drugs. Let's get straight to it. Straight to the bullshit. I ain't streaming tonight. I got a studio session. I'm recording another hit song tonight. So if you're expecting to stream tonight, it's not gonna happen. I got to go to the studio like in about an hour and a half. So I'm just doing all this shit real quick. Anyway. Here we go. And I'm going to stop it frequently. You know how I did the same thing with when I did the reaction to the interview, whatever. I love to talk.
Equipped with a 7th generation.
Let's go to it.
Look at any other interview we've done that has...
Come on.
I mean, your parents tell you that all the time.
All the time. My father
don't do drugs.
My father used to say,
if you don't, that you OD.
Yeah, my father used to say, if you don't change your ways, you're gonna end up in jail, dead, or broke sitting under the tree. Yeah. I don't think the streets have changed that much. And
when you were in jail, it's not like he went there like, oh yeah, I'm super happy to bail you out. Exactly. I was right.
Exactly. So what these kids don't understand is this trolling shit can get you hurt. Y'all trolling.
Yes.
But everybody else not playing.
Yeah.
And that's all I wanted to convey to him in the interview. But
by the way, this whole podcast was a spin cycle, bruh. Y'all getting tons of views. You win as a company. You win as a media personality. But the nigga finessed you and filleted you through the whole interview. That's the facts. You feel me? I don't care what Twitter say, Instagram say. That's really the facts, okay? And salute to Andrew. Andrew was kind of really pointing out what a lot of people saw. But again, this is a spin cycle.
I don't think he'll get touched. I think he's exposed.
I don't care about that part. I don't care about that part. Right, here we go.
I want to know I think he had...
Wait. I'm trying to find an interesting part. I don't want to listen to the whole thing.
It doesn't matter.
Himself got shot?
Don't matter. Lil Wayne's bus has gotten shot up.
Rick Ross did get...
Wait.
You'll actually hear me saying it here on this show as well.
Absolutely.
All the time I would tell them the exact same thing. You can't invite that kind of energy into your life.
Okay. Sure.
Stop it. Like you're in another space now. I said that shit all the time.
I don't think that Tekashi is going to put himself in the same situations as Tax. Tax, for better for worse, was really about that. Where he at?
On the Charlamagne's page, which is great. I think that you should keep the content going. I keep telling y'all, and I've told y'all this before, these interviews like this are like Thanksgiving turkeys.
Wait, hold on.
We always impact culture in that way.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Gary Owen had no idea who Tekashi 6ix9ine was last week, but after he saw that interview, he was like,
Hey, my bad. I'm a little unprepared. I'm just trying to skip through it. I got through the first 30 minutes of it, so I know everything I need to address probably in the first 30 minutes. If anything else, we'll listen to more. But
this motherfucker can be spoofed.
A lot of people didn't know who he was until last week.
Well, that's good.
Absolutely.
That's what interviews are for.
How do you feel about it? What is your takeaway?
To be honest with you, I don't feel any way about it. This is what we do. This is what I do
Right.
as far as, being a interviewer. Like,
Right.
I don't look at this interview no different than I look at any other interview we've done that has been just.
I mean, your parents tell you that all the time. I want to know Rick
don't
Ross.
matter.
Where he at?
Shows.
World. Some people say it's CAA, but they go back
Matter.
because they not getting got no
Man.
more, son. They went about that life.
Saw
What did he do?
when got him. I could be wrong, and yo, by the way, I want to be wrong.
I just disagree with you. I think it's going to be a lot more for entertainment.
Okay,
I will
okay.
say one thing that I
think-
know.
I think
Everybody
this is
not
where we
playing.
go. This is where
He's
we go.
entertaining. He's entertaining.
This is where we start. This is where we
Fans love
start.
it and everything.
This is where we
But then
start.
soon as some bullshit happens, oh, that was fucked up, Charlamagne. You caused this by speaking it on.
Well,
oh, that's fucked.
See, that's what I didn't like about this situation. Is that this situation brought out, like, Tekashi's getting a lot of dick riding from dudes that are just that he's calling
Everybody wants the attention.
It's up to you.
I saw Akademiks say something,
right here. This is where we start. Oh, Tekashi shit, I don't care. Tekashi's a fucking show, and he's an artist of his own. He could defend his fucking self. I just like folks some parts about me. Here we go. Because y'all know I did a breakdown about this whole thing, the interview, and I said, listen, Charlamagne was trying to make some good points, some great points, actually. But Charlamagne, who is a known troll at times when niggas are trying to say serious shit, he'll come in with a very jokingly non sequitur point, like, could I suck a fart out of your butt? What have you done for Black Lives? And he does that a lot. So when an artist does it to him, I said, yo, fair game. That nigga beat you at your own game. You gotta respect it. It's all in the game, right? So I didn't really knock him, but you gotta acknowledge that a nigga actually finessed his way to a very viral video. He's a new artist. That's pretty much it. Anyway, this is what Charlamagne starts out with his analysis. Here we go.
And I know it's hard for Akademiks to be biased
Watch
when
this.
it comes to Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Why? Because they bathed together?
Tekashi 6ix9ine took him to the Dominican Republic to get his body done. That's what you do to your bitches, right? So that's what he did.
Hey, all is fair in love and war, and all is fair in parody. By the way, I could imagine Charlamagne was probably fucking heated when I was clowning around his reaction or him being quote unquote sunned or whatever by Tekashi. So that little shot right there, it's all in the game. You feel me? The little rib shot is cool. I'm not being offended by that, trust me. Okay.
Deal with that, right? So I saw. I saw
Andrew with the weak gas. I don't take that. Charlamagne always has fired shots, like not even shots, but little. It's a joke. It's a joke.
I saw Axe say that Tekashi spun me.
And by the way, I just like showing the flip side to the coin, where he said Tekashi flew you out to the Dominican Republic like one of his bitches, which is not true, but fine. But I could say, well, Drake sent a bunch of bottles to you in the midst of his beef, like a bunch of bitches in a club, and you were rocking with Drake. Again, it's tit for tat. That's why I take no offense to it. But I'm going to show you the flip side of everything he pretty much said. Let's keep going.
But there was a lot of holes in Tekashi's argument.
Okay.
So that's it. Like, I'm not.
And that is right. I said that Tekashi kind of spun him, but there's a lot of holes in Tekashi's argument. Tekashi didn't come in there with like fucking bulletproof answers. My overall point, Charlamagne, Breakfast Club, super unprepared. I don't think they've found these new artists. I think the intern or whoever they got up there, like the many interns, probably give them a sheet like, yo, this is a new person you're talking to. They ask questions. And if the person's savvy enough, they fucking finesse him through the whole thing. And that's what happened, pretty much.
I'm not going to try to prove that you're lying. Like, you can't like.
The burden of proof is on you, though.
I don't know.
Okay, then they get into this whole thing about should Charlamagne have been more prepared or whatnot. Really don't care about that part.
What else?
Because
I don't know what else to say.
if you don't prove that he's lying, then you just look like you got exposed for not doing research.
Listen, the guy told me that I know somebody I don't know,
Right.
which was scummy.
Maybe he assumes that she's 16.
So I thought that was.
Maybe he assumes that she's 16. I don't know how to speak English, but it's if I don't come with like facts and research behind my shit, you could smoke me.
So what are the facts? What are the facts under the guy?
This is the sad part. Even after the interview, Charlamagne's asking, what's the fact?
Case.
That's what you didn't have.
They are.
Andrew Schultz, right.
All right, there
You
are
just
none.
said you were like, you're a pedophile, and he's like, well, what
No,
about this?
no. I asked him. I said, "Are you a registered sex offender?" By
whatever.
the way, that's the only thing he said in the interview that made total sense to me. I actually, and people was giving him flack for that. I actually thought what he said in that case was super
Completely
accurate.
reasonable.
Young kid, slept with a girl, didn't know what her age was.
And that again shows the unpreparedness of Charlamagne and the Breakfast Club. Tekashi never said he slept with a girl. You're just wrong. Again, you're clearly just making shit up. He said he was in a viral video with her. If you look at the case, which they probably don't care to look at, but that's the exact reason you got bodied, he never had sex with the chick. The chick was exposed in a video that went viral. And he was in the background, and he didn't film it, but he uploaded it to his social media. He never had sex with her. So again, you're acting like after the fact, it makes sense now. No, it didn't make sense, because you still don't get the details of the case. Stop it.
Sure.
Didn't have any money.
Sure.
Couldn't afford a lawyer.
Then they go into why he took the plea. Skip asses.
Sex offender.
Right. And
You say, well, I used to wear the colors.
Crips to get that round was
Okay.
easy.
And well for that young man.
Skipping past this whole Crip blood thing, I really don't care about it. Okay. Salute to all the Crips and Bloods who watch me. Keep banging in the comment section. I love y'all.
And guess what? I don't want to.
Are directed towards you.
That's not true.
Let me
This one is, by the way, this one is still directed to. The jury's still out.
Then they start arguing about was Charlamagne the main focus of the interview. I don't know. Again, I think Andrew Schultz's point was that he didn't address Charlamagne a lot. He addressed the other two people, and it was his way of kind of either belittling him or kind of making the focus just on him. Whatever the case is, clearly it was about Charlamagne. The nigga at Charlamagne on social media, which Charlamagne did say, and I agree with Charlamagne with that. So, by the way, I could be fair.
I get what you're saying.
But enough about rap.
He's been shot. I don't know what to tell you.
He has been.
People are in jail doing life sentences for this. Like,
Okay, I'm skipping past some parts, but I'm giving out a real quick summary. Andrew Schultz basically asked if the game is a real gang member and blah, 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 and is he that much different from Tekashi? Charlamagne had a great response to that. The West Coast culture, niggas have died, they've fucking carried casket, paid for funerals, blah, 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 because that it's real to them. So if somebody's playing around with it, they're going to be offended, whether you believe they're real or not. Good point.
this is very.
Take down the
I don't know if
pockets.
the gangbangers are the ones doing the black power.
Learned about him, but you genuinely got. This is off air.
Yeah.
This-
Okay, here we go.
You fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just live for it for 7 days. That's all I.
when the mics were off.
I just want to throw that out. And it's fine to be indiscreet.
Yeah.
Oh,
I guess
here we go.
You know, sometimes you got to save people from themselves. Pump the brakes on him talking shit about.
Wait, here we go.
And maybe I shouldn't be sharing
Right.
Go ahead, go
your
ahead.
private thoughts, but it's an interesting thing that there was no animosity after this interview. So when you say you truly hope nothing bad happens to him, the energy was kept when the mics were off.
Oh, listen, the reason I don't
That's what I'm trying
absolutely.
to say. Is that clear?
Yeah, the reason I don't have any animosity towards him, because I don't see what other people see, and that's fine
Yeah.
when it comes to art. You know what I mean? Because I do look at interviews as art. So if I put an interview out and one person has one perspective, oh, Tekashi got the best of Charlamagne.
Yeah.
Somebody else got another perspective, and they're like, yo, Charlamagne was really trying to give him some OG wisdom, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm cool with either.
Yeah.
Or if some people are just indifferent, I'm fine with either. Like none of it means anything to me. Like I don't take any of it in. Like
Stop it. Charlamagne been on social media defending this interview and trying to counteract why someone didn't get the best of him for the last 4 days. While he's right with what he's saying now, his actions on social media and the constant defending of how you did in the interview say completely otherwise. All right, let's just be honest.
Like it's all good. Whatever you feel about the interview, fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just live for it for 7 days. That's all I want. You know what I'm saying? Do your parody videos, do your memes. Salute to
Right.
Gary Owen coming in dressed up as Tekashi 69.
You ready for this?
I'm with all of that, but I genuinely feel like he was a good kid, and that's what hurts. And by the way, when the interview was completely over, Tekashi goes, "Yo, I'm just out here trying to get ratings, man. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to get ratings for the show, whatever. Like, cool. Like, and I'm like, and I said to him once again, but that's my thing. Everybody not playing. You playing, but everybody else not playing."
Yeah.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? And I told Ack the same thing this weekend because Ack hit me up, and Ack was like,
Which I told y'all, I hit Charlamagne up because I don't like liar attached to my name when I try to just operate on a fucking independent axis where I don't have to lie.
I don't He was like, I didn't tell Tekashi that, whatever. He was like, for the record, I ain't tell Tekashi that, blah, blah, blah. The same thing he said on the video, he said to me on the text. And then I was like, yo, he seemed like a good kid, man. If that's really your man, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
I'm putting out all that negative shit about him all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pump the brakes on him. Sometimes you got to save people from themselves.
Hey, I do want to address this point because I didn't address it the last time when Charlamagne mentioned it in the interview with Tekashi. There was a point where, and I guess I do believe it was completely out of self-defense, where the whole scum gang thing came up, and Charlamagne made a comment saying, well, if Akademiks told you that version, he's a lying ass nigga, which, by the way, he just recanted. I explained, and he's basically co-signed that. I explained it correctly, so I didn't lie, right? But he then looked at Tekashi, and he says, he says, you know, Akademiks is going to get you hurt. And to me, that comment struck me as super weird. Because again, and you're going to hear later on someone comes in and say, if you ever watch Akademiks' video, he's not encouraging Tekashi. There's nothing publicly other than reposting, which he does with everything on Instagram. Everything. I mean, it doesn't matter who, doesn't matter if I know them or not. I repost everything on Instagram. But when you look at his videos, he's kind of like even talking down on Tekashi and say, you're doing some dumb shit, right? However, that particular comment to say if something happens to Tekashi, I'm at blame, is the exact equivalent of me saying Taxstone being in jail is Charlamagne's fault. And I know he would not sit there and never take responsibility for that. He put Taxstone on. Let's be clear. Taxstone was on your platform. Loudspeaker Networks, which is you control it. If you say you heard a podcast where he was popping too much shit or starting some beef or maybe getting him into some shit that could get violent, you could have decided that that's not going out. But you didn't. You never said, oh, fuck with you, my man, blah, 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 but we're not publishing this. Y'all published as a company, Loudspeaker Networks, everything he said. And by the way, some of the things allegedly that he said on his podcast that came on the company that you are a part of will be used in court. So if you're blaming shit that Tekashi might get into on me, please tell me you're standing accountability. And if you are, then we have a different discussion. If you're saying, yo, I'm partly responsible for where Taxstone is now, right? And keep in mind, by the way, because we're going to get into this industry talk soon, I know about that I've met more than just in the everyday struggle setting. Two rappers. Tekashi's probably the only one I've ever met instead of FaceTime. I FaceTime Yachty a good amount. I FaceTime Ugly God. I never met Ugly God in person. But Tekashi lives in Brooklyn, and I've seen him a couple times, right? Now, I don't know anyone else. And I'm just paralleling this to the Taxstone situation, because if you're saying I'm responsible for anything that happened to this nigga, you are absolutely responsible for why Taxstone is in jail. And you're even more responsible because you knew both parties, including Troy Ave. And you could say, oh, well, I told Taxstone, blah, blah, blah. But if you do the research on what I've told Tekashi, I've said the same thing. I've said, this is not going to end well. This is going to probably lead you to not being able to get shows in LA. It's going to lead to you being hurt or somebody else being hurt around you. I've never said anything different, which if I remembered you're saying, and you're going to hear him say because I'm going to play it, he says he said the same thing to Taxstone. So how could you wipe your hand clean and then not even show up to the interview with the guy? And by the way, keep in mind, you know both of these guys. The Game is one of my favorite rappers in the world. I love The Game's music way more than Tekashi's music. You get me? I've never really met Game. I'm not cool with Game like that. We've DM'd a couple times, but that was when he was sending me stuff about his issues with Meek Mill, whatever. But in reality, I don't know The Game. I don't really know YG. I don't know these other guys who Tekashi's had a problem with. So it's easier for Tekashi to get information to me than those other guys. You know Troy Ave. You know Taxstone. You gave a platform to Taxstone. Basically, we saw what happened, and you could take no blame. But the guy who only reposts shit that either he says or anybody says, and I know one side, right? I don't know either. You get me? I'm to be blamed? Very hypocritical. And I had to point that out, and I let that slide last time because I said, not going to do that. But you can't sit here and say that I'm to be blamed for a nigga getting in trouble without saying It's not like I made an Instagram account for Tekashi or I signed Tekashi. If y'all find a paperwork that me and Tekashi got together where I'm his manager, his publicist, I get 10% off a song, a deal, blah, 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 please let me know. Please expose me. Zero of that happens, okay? This is the quote-unquote relationship, what y'all want to call it. I need content daily, usually almost hourly. Tekashi loves to give content daily, almost hourly. It's a symbiotic relationship. One provides, one needs. One needs, the other provides. And it goes back and forth. I'm not making, so, you know what I mean? I just wanted to put that point out there. So if this is, if we continue this conversation, I want to hear this conversation be continued. How could you bring yourself back? And by the way, one of the reasons why you didn't show up to the interview with Troy Ave is because it is a conflict of interest. Tax is your guy. Gave him a platform. You stated publicly you would help him with bail, despite you always claiming you don't know what happened, right? And also you then claiming you want justice to happen. You get me? So, again, you're more intertwined in that situation than I could ever be with 6ix9ine. And you would say I would be the problem that something happens, or I would be the blame if something happened to 6ix9ine, but you take zero responsibility for anything. Or Tax has been in jail for the last year, and salute to Tax. I do not want this to be anything disrespectful. I don't know that man. He seems like a very entertaining guy on Twitter, but I'm just speaking on facts. Okay? Are we going to be fair, or are we just going to spin narrative? I don't like the narrative being spun, especially when you could conveniently absolve yourself and then say, attack Akademiks. No. Let's keep it going.
Pump the brakes on him talking shit about people. Pump the brakes on him saying...
You see, everything he's saying, we could have looked at Charlamagne and said, yo, why don't you pump the brakes on Tax Stone tweeting at Troy Ave every time? Why don't you pump the brakes on Tax Stone talking down on his podcast, which you host that platform? Why didn't you just say, we're not publishing this. This is destructive. We're not putting this as out, because you guys are a media company. You guys never said that. But it's convenient to say, pump the brakes on him talking shit. And he's going to bring up the fact that I had that conversation with him to say, I tell him, I warn him, but he's going to do what he wants to do. And the people behind him, y'all saw me talk to him and the guy called Treyway. Y'all saw me have a conversation with them on here. I told them everything that I think that might happen. I told them I'm scared for them, blah, blah. And they all said, yo, this nigga got the best protection in the world, Treyway. What am I supposed to say? What do you want me to say? so let's keep playing.
Test my gangster. Like, just, if that's your man, right? And so he was like, matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you what he said.
Yeah, you texted. You sent me.
Yeah, I don't want to misquote I don't want to misquote him at all. Because I don't have any problems with Akademiks. I know everybody trying to make it seem like me and Akademiks got problems.
And also, this is true. Me and Charlamagne don't have problems. I don't know why. I believe Joe Budden, who usually shoots from the hip, in his podcast, who tries to be like the oracle of hip-hop, because they usually are ahead of a lot of people. They kind of put it out there, and people have been just looking at different things to think that me and Charlamagne have problems. Me and Charlamagne, we just don't communicate as frequently as we did before. We used to talk at least every week. We haven't talked for a couple of months. I haven't seen that he has any ill will against me, and I've never had any ill will against him. So this whole thing of we're beefing, I think that is just made up. And of course, like, people will take this back and forth as, oh, this is the beef. But no. Again, my name came up in an interview. Charlamagne was defending himself. He called me a liar. He later then said, okay, he wasn't lying, but still, there's certain things about blah, blah. And now I'm responding. We're responding in a public sphere. It's not beefing. Okay?
As far as I know, we don't. But he just said, yo, I try to warn him. Just like I said, I try to warn him. He literally thrives off the controversy. He said, I always reported stuff like this. Now I just try to be as neutral as possible. I worry for him, but he has tons of people around him who co-sign him on all the stuff that he's saying. I don't think being in the pool with him while he touches your leg is neutral, but right. But I get it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the other thing too. Salute to Act. You can't say you're not industry when you're hanging out with rappers in pools.
I don't know if this was a trigger point. I'm My nigga, I'm self-made at this point. I don't give a fuck if y'all say I'm industry, in a relationship with. I don't give a fuck. You feel me? All that industry talk is for y'all niggas. Basically, I'm gonna tell y'all what it is. Y'all have these publicists and whatever that book all y'all guests to come to the Breakfast Club or whatever. Nigga, if I'm gonna get Lil Pump on here, yes, I have to fucking text Lil Pump, yo, you wanna get on and play Fortnite. Yes, if you consider that I'm compromised or fucking industry, I don't give a fuck. It means nothing to me. Again, a lot of these terms, and I've probably said that, yo, I'm not industry, whatever, and if y'all do want to believe I'm industry, don't care to me. It really don't matter. Because I was watching the radio niggas basically say that, and I was like, okay, I'm like staying very distant from it. But if y'all want to be honest and know the truth, I communicate with a good amount of these rappers. You know why? I've learned that my reporting gets better. It's one thing to shoot from the hip and report some shit about X and not really know his side because he doesn't say much. Rather than I could call him and I could look him in his eye and ask him, and I could still report the other side and then report what X said to me. It's the same thing with Tekashi, it's the same thing with Ugly Guys, it's the same thing with Yachty, it's the same thing with Tory Lanez. I could text Tory Lanez like, yo, Tory, bro, what happened with that Travis shit? Why'd you, were you just faking because you had 10 niggas in the room and he had nobody? And Travis could say, no, actually all the niggas in the room was with him. And it could give me context. If that's industry, sign me up. But I give a fuck about this industry conversation. This is for them like niggas who's in whatever. I don't care. Call me industry or not. One thing, just call me successful. Okay?
I just want to throw that out. And it's fine to be industry.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with being industry. Like, I used to think it was something wrong with being industry too. But we are the industry. What Actim do is a new model of the industry. You know what I'm saying?
He has a slight point with that. Slight point.
You know what I'm saying? And it serves a purpose. You know what I'm saying? So we got to stop saying we're industry. Now, do I think that they've created their own industry? Absolutely. Do I think that they've created their own industry that has a place within the culture and other aspects of the industry? Absolutely.
Okay.
Because people pay attention to everything. People pay attention to the shit that they're doing.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So, but just stop saying you're not industry, because you're industry. If you're in the pool with rappers, and rappers are touching your leg, and then you're jumping in the pool with your shirt on because you scared to take your shirt off because you hadn't got your body done yet in DR. You know what I'm saying?
Those aren't shots, by the way. I'm going to maintain that that's just like joking. Charlamagne, that's what I'm saying, this is jokes. Just because the reason why Charlamagne called an L to Tekashi is because he got trolled. And if you're thinking that I'm uploading a video to Instagram, by the way, I think some of y'all seen my hairline. It's not even that bad. But I've lived with the whole fucking internet saying it's the worst thing ever, looking like Stephen A. Smith for the longest, because I don't care. Whatever your narrative is, I could fucking feed into it. And I'm glad I had that Bad and Bougie shirt. Like, everything in that fucking little skit y'all saw, you fucking did. I went to get a shirt for the fucking joint. And by the way, we were filming a music video. If you want to call that whatever it is. And I said, actually, I came up with the idea. I said, watching how triggered everybody on social media is about this, we need to spoof this shit. And I said, how can we spoof it? The only thing I fucked up, though, because I should have my hat on. But my hat was wet from another shit we did. So I meant to have my hat on. That hat, that shirt, and I told him, like, we told the lines. It was like, yo, I'm going to act like, no, you need to play me out like you don't know who I am and fucking, like, point to the Bad and Bougie shit and be like, that's the only way you know how. Because that's the same thing he did to Charlamagne by saying, nigga, I only know you for the radio show. If you want to take it as whatever, it's cool. Let's keep listening.
Your industry. And it's fine. It's cool to be industry. It's perfectly fine. Do you think it's something wrong being industry?
I never understood.
Hey, somebody just said in the chat, I'm slim thick. I'm not fat, bro. I'm slim thick. Okay. And by the way, which I know a lot of y'all are very fucking sensitive or homophobic or whatever. Number one, I didn't even notice that Tekashi even grabbed me or whatever. But the nigga can't swim. The nigga is fucking we're in a 10 feet part of the pool. And the nigga can't swim, so his life jacket is holding him up, and he's trying not to float away and stay within frame. So he touches or grabs my leg twice for fucking stabilization. Doesn't matter if people care about that. Actually, it's better if they don't, because to be honest, the video was meant to be viral, and it fucking went viral. Who cares? I don't care.
understood that what that was about.
I get it. I can understand.
The negative. So I guess the
I get it.
connotation is that you can't be objective if you're in the industry.
All right, let me. I'm gonna skip through this because I think I heard most of this already. No, I haven't heard the rest, but I just want to get the parts about me.
Niggas ain't friends. They know how to pretend. That is so motherfucking true. But Mike Kaiser has never been that way.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
So I always got the utmost respect for Kaiser. Kaiser works at Atlantic Records, right? Now, anybody who knows me knows I've been championing Cardi B way before she had a record deal. I be saying Cardi B for president. Cardi B's our Lord and Savior. Everybody like, oh, you trolling with that Cardi B shit. I'm like, no, this girl is a star, right? Had her on the Breakfast Club way before she was signed to Atlantic or whatever. Sure. Now that she's on Atlantic, and I still champion her the way that I've been championing her, I'm on Atlantic's payroll. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, I mean, I think Charlamagne just proved his own point. Bro, if you ask me and Tekashi, outside of the music stuff, we're cool. I get it. You saw us in a pool. I get it. You see us around together. I don't know other rappers. By the way, a couple other rappers, they was trying to hang out too. But, you know what I mean? It's just building relationships. If you want to say that I'm biased, I don't give a fuck. I'm trying to get to the place. No, actually, I'm not trying to get to the place. I wish it was like 6 months ago when I would be like fucking Incredible Hulk and on it. Like now, I'm like, what are you talking about? My main thing was just that don't be blaming or saying that I'm to be blamed for that 6ix9ine shit. If you don't stand up, put your hand up and say, Troy Ave and Tax Stone, I could have avoided if I paid attention, if I stepped in. And by the way, let's not act like people didn't look at Troy Tax Stone on social media and say, this is only going to end this way too. The same way they're saying about 6ix9ine. So you probably were in a more prime position than me. Just don't blame me. If we gonna take blame, let's take blame together. I'm down for the mutual blame. Okay. Now, if you want to say I take blame for it, so I'm instructing you to move differently, of course. And then even then, I would probably say how move differently. Then we can have a discussion about that. Okay, let me see. Is there any more parts about this? I only listened up to this part, so I don't know if they're talking about me for the rest of the shit.
Well, yeah. If you really felt it was stupid, then you wouldn't talk about it.
I didn't retweet Tax when Tax be wildin'.
Yeah.
Stop it, bruh. You know that nigga was wildin'. You know he was wildin' on your platforms. You know he was making threats on the platforms that you control. You did nothing. Stop it. Like, you know what I mean? It's not that, first of all, if 6ix9ine was signed to me and I was like getting a hidden check, which, by the way, if Tax had a fucking sponsorship, nigga, you gotta check off that. I don't get a check off no rapper unless I make my own check. You feel me? Tax Stone was on your platform. I'm gonna just keep saying that again. 6ix9ine ain't signing me. I'm not his manager. You know what I mean? Like, I could be honest with you. He has asked me because there is some internal stuff going on with him now in terms of business, and he asked me, says, "What do you think I should do?" And I try to tell him that he should get with the right people to make sure his business is right. I'm pretty sure if I ever looked at him and said, if I was a greedy motherfucker, I could say, nigga, I'll be a manager, or I'll be this for you, or I'll be your PR guy, and I could get a check. But no, I think that would make me compromise because I'm literally getting a check because of his efforts. I'm the media. However this shit play out, number one, I get paid regardless. Number two, and that doesn't absolve me from whatever happens, but I don't have to I don't have to fucking live and die on 6ix9ine being hot. I've always said, like, I've covered hella people when Chief Keef was hot. When he wasn't hot anymore, I wasn't done. You know what I mean? Like, I covered a hot person, whoever the fuck the hot person is. If tomorrow rapper A becomes the hot person, well, Tekashi gonna be out of luck. You feel me? I'm covering a hot person. That's just what it is, my nigga. Anyway, let me just skip through this.
Never gets old.
Don't start caring.
But I'm just saying, it never gets old. Cause I'm always it's righteous ratchet. Oh. Are you serious?
Bro.
And he was like, man, call me with my friend, well, it's still an interview. Birdman, here's the thing with the Birdman interview. The reason Breakfast Club...
Hey, this is almost an hour in, and this is what I was saying that, listen, by the way, I disagree with anyone who feels like Charlamagne took the L career-wise. On an ego level, yes. But this is career-wise, this is fucking licking your chops. I I could tell y'all for Complex. Y'all remember when y'all might be like, yo, well, Vic Mensa came in here and called you a bitch. Man, Complex saw them fucking views, and of course they gotta consider me because I could say, nigga, this is not good for my brand. Peace. But other than that, nigga, they were fucking enjoying those views. Same thing with 6ix9ine, like iHeartMedia and the Power 105, the station itself, and the producers and all the people above it, and the Breakfast Club itself, the hosts, they're loving it. So I don't believe career-wise this is anything but a W for them. But, of course, if you're explaining yourself 50 minutes into a podcast, it's about an ego. No one has ever had you looking like this where you're spinning and twirling like a ballerina, and that's what you're doing. But, anyway. Let's keep going.
Two questions. I hard started really pulling shit down. That shit has 62 million views.
Really?
See, Charlamagne's going out his way, like, no, Tekashi will never have the #1 view thing. Nigga, who cares? Like, he made to be honest, nobody will care enough to look 4 months down the line to see if Tekashi had the #1. The nigga proved his point by just getting like 4 million in a day. It was like, oh shit, this is super viral. That nigga told you he was gonna do some shit. That shit's super viral. People have short-term memory. Niggas is on to the next interview y'all might have, the next Monique moment or the next Tekashi moment.
Yes, that did before. What happened? What was happening with Troy and Tax serious enough?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Oh, they did talk about this. I didn't get to this part.
God bless everybody involved. And that prayer was very authentic. I really meant that prayer from Brian Houston to Tekashi.
Shit, my bad. Okay, I'm glad he's talking about the Troy and whatever situation.
This, okay? Because you was on Everyday Struggle saying what you want to say, and on your Twitch saying what you want to say. So don't get upset. You said Tekashi spun me around like a ballad.
Oh, hold on, I didn't hear this part. I love this.
Like anytime I talk to anybody, the ultimate win is Breakfast Club.
Can I spell it out?
Please.
REVENUE. Did I spell revenue right? Just making sure. I don't give a fuck. Like I didn't. What y'all know what I meant. All right. I don't care.
I had no clue. I thought you were talking about a new rapper.
Yeah, but I like I said, I do want to be wrong. I don't want the brother to get hurt. I'm just telling you that it's a certain energy you put out there that always comes back to you. And we all sat back and didn't take, what happened, what was happening with Troy and Tax.
Now I ain't gonna let Charlamagne get off the hook on that. Charlamagne gotta stand up and take accountability for that shit. If he throwing me in this Tekashi shit, because I don't think this shit gonna end well neither. Right? So if you try to throw this on me because you know what's gonna happen, Tekashi might get locked up, and I hope it doesn't. Clearly. Tekashi might get knocked out. I hope it doesn't. But you know what? You know what this is setting up for? This is the alley-oop. I told y'all about Ak. Fuck that. Take responsibility for Troy Ave and Tax Stone, because I stayed far the fuck out of that. Okay? Charlamagne, listen, you had the power, and don't tell me you weren't paying attention, because you watch everything. If you could watch my Twitch, you definitely listen to your mans on your platform slander and say what he would do to Troy Ave every time he saw him. So don't play that game, buddy. I'm just keeping 100. Let's be honest. If we gonna be fair, we could be fair. Again, I don't come on here and just fucking act like I'm an angel. Everybody plays a soapbox thing. I don't like that shit. Okay? I don't like the soapbox thing. Yeah, I have nothing to do with the Troy Ave and Tax Stone thing, but if something happened to Tekashi, it's Ak fault. What? If I sign 6ix9ine, maybe. If I had points on his deal like Trippie Redd does, maybe. If I fucking got money off his shows, maybe. No, I'm a fucking media platform. The same way. And you know I was glad that the Breakfast Club interviewed him? Because what did Charlamagne just spell out? Revenue. REVENUE. He never disrespected YG on my platform. He went on your platform and did it. And what you said, revenue. So if YG, and God forbid, I don't want this to happen, if something happens because of that, isn't your platform the platform that facilitated that? Not mine. Yours. So again, the same shit you're blaming me, it would be cool to be on the soapbox if you didn't give him the interview and you didn't bring up every beef that he had. Every beef. I don't even think I talked to him on even my Twitch about The 6ix9ine, no, the game beef. Y'all did. I don't think I talked to him about the YG beef because we went to DR. Y'all did. So again, am I talking lies or am I talking facts? You spelled it out. Revenue. That Breakfast Club interview will probably get as much views as all my videos on 6ix9ine. Well, actually, the first interview where he was trying to clear his name got a lot, but whatever. So if you saying that, oh, Ak, you've kind of profited off this, man, y'all invite him up to the Breakfast Club. If that was y'all stance, don't invite him. Don't invite him. I don't care how hot he is. If you want to be on a soapbox, do not invite him to the Breakfast Club. Or if he gets there, say, we want to talk music, no beefs. Because I'm not going to say I don't cover beefs. I cover beefs. If a nigga say, I covers beefs, I would say, yes, I cover beefs, and I mention music too, and I try to keep it balanced. But yes, beefs are a part of it. I'm guilty. I'll take it. But I'm not into nobody being on a soapbox. This interview, and we could talk about how viral it's going, is huge for the Breakfast Club. But the same accountability you're trying to throw to me, you got to take it too. Because you invited him up for the interview that popped off. Let me give you even more of that. And I did the video. If you watch my video on my YouTube channel, I said, the reason why YG came out and said, fuck 6ix9ine, you know why he said that? And Charlamagne could answer to it, or anybody at the Breakfast Club. There was word that got out before that interview went live that got to YG that his name was spoken about in a disrespectful manner by 6ix9ine. You know how I know? Because they called me and they said, listen, we can't tell you what to do with your platform, but your platform drives conversation a lot. Please don't amp up, and this was my Instagram, please don't amp up this situation with YG and 6ix9ine. It could go somewhere else. And as respectful as I could be to that person, because I respect them and because I don't want anything to happen, I didn't post one Breakfast Club clip of 6ix9ine talking down on YG. But again, where did those first comments stem from? The Breakfast Club. I'm just giving it 100. I'm just giving it. If I'm lying, please tell me. Okay? If I'm lying, please tell me. We'll go back to the timeline. 4 a.m., I get hit up. Somebody says, look on Instagram. YG just made a video in front of a G-Wagon saying, on Paru, blah, 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 blah. Fuck 6ix9ine. Why was that the case? And I got on my video because I wanted to keep it 100 with my audience. I said, I haven't heard the Breakfast Club interview yet, but I got a call saying that 6ix9ine said some shit on the Breakfast Club that YG will not like. Again, clearly, y'all could somehow from the Breakfast Club doing the interview before he went out, it got to YG. So again, if we're talking about inciting situations and blah 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 blah, if y'all want to put my hand up, I'm raising everybody's hand. My hand, I'm like, Charlamagne, come on, you gotta come too. Yee, you coming too. Envy, you coming too. Whoever owned iHeartMedia, you coming too. Let's be honest, okay? Y'all will not throw me solely under the bus when y'all brag about gaining revenue from an interview where he's talking about beef. My biggest interview with him was him trying to clear his name on a sexual allegation. Y'all biggest interview with him was him inciting and furthering beef. Have I had him on Twitch where he came on here and continued or agitated beefs? Yes. But that puts me in the same position as you. Okay? Except I don't get online and say, well, just to let you know, the main thing that matters is REVENUE. Just put it out there.
Serious enough?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, hey, God bless everybody involved. And that prayer was very authentic. I really meant that prayer from Brian Houston to Tekashi 6ix9ine. So I wish him the best. I wish him and Akademiks.
That was for ratings. Cut it out. You could have had him pray behind the scenes. That was for some camera joking shit. Stop it. You could have prayed before you got on camera. It was purposely done on camera for ratings. Like, again, maybe it was genuine, but let's not act like the shit we saw isn't for ratings.
It's the best on their nuptials. And, you know, And act, don't you get salty about this, okay? Because you was on Everyday Struggle saying what you want to say, and on your Twitch saying what you want to say. So don't get upset. You said Tekashi spun me around like a ballerina. So don't get upset when I say Tekashi took you to the Dominican Republic to get your body done. Okay?
Hey, that's funny. That's what. And by the way, I'm just putting it out there. Charlamagne is a legend. I do love Charlamagne. Do I defer to him for every opinion or his advice on how I move on everything these days? No. Do I have anything negative? I still watch his shit and I still root for him because Charlamagne's a fucking legend. And I would never go at like a legend like that. Only time I had any issue was like I felt he was trying to make it seem like I was in a position that I was in when a couple months before he was saying the opposite thing. This whole thing where, and I think that's where I took offense. So the D. Mero thing, right? I saw him kind of jump in and he was sarcastically like, oh, Akademiks is the victim. I'm like, stop acting like, please stop. Like, I know those guys are your mans, and I think it was further proven because it felt like he threw DJ Envy under the bus for his mans, those two guys, the comedian guys on Vice. But I know it's your mans, but don't try to, like, kind of subtly play me while being sarcastic with it. Nah, I'm not into that. I'm not into that. That's not cool. And the reason why I said I'm not into that, I said those guys are trying to do this for real estate on digital. Yes, they might be good on TV, but they're trying to do that. My name is a fucking beaten stick for digital, and when you kind of like fucking give them the alley-oop and kind of propel it, I was really trying to, after that couple, I had a couple back and forth tweets, but I was done with it. You feel me? And I felt he kept trying to egg it on, not in my favor, because he knows it helps his guys. It's his guys. Let's be clear what it is. Now, that to the side, it followed up with moments after, or like a week after. Remember the Joe thing happened, right? He starts saying on his podcast and other outlets that I turned down a deal with Revolt. I want you guys to go ask Joe Budden today if he signed to Revolt for $5 million, as a lot of people were saying. So that was my whole point. Charlamagne knows as a guy who has never ever had the audience decide his Breakfast Club fate, and he's renegotiated multiple times with the Breakfast Club. You don't ask the audience to tell you if you're doing the right thing or if you should get your own show and leave the other guys in the dust. No, you do it yourself with your lawyers and probably your family. But when it came to my situation, it felt like you maybe had ulterior motives when you were kind of trying to push forth a false narrative that I need to sign with Revolt. By the way, Revolt has never offered me anything. Never. They never looked at me and said, hey, here's the deal. Are you going to take it? No. We could talk hypotheticals all we want. I have a lawyer right now who is talking to Complex. And they know, I seen Complex, because I was at the building today. Seen Complex lawyer. I seen the bosses for Complex. And they all know we could smile, we could, dap it up. But nothing really gets done with me anymore. I'm not a rookie anymore without my lawyers. So when he was saying, oh, Act turned it down, that was completely false. And what narrative that furthered on the internet for me, or not for me, but for everyone, was that Akademiks is some house Negro and a dumbass that Joe has left and gotten $5 million from Revolt. And Ak is so like, yes, massa, that he doesn't want to leave. When the $5 million was never true, Joe having a deal, never true, me officially being offered a deal, never true, and the same respect that I offered him in terms of, you see how Tekashi just said some shit? I texted him personally and I said, I didn't tell Tekashi that. The same truth you know is what I know. And I would never get it in the public and say differently because I like to keep it the same way in the public as I do in the private. So at that point, I realized, or I felt like he might have ulterior motives. What those motives might be, I looked at it and I said, well, of course, if the show went along, he could be the executive producer. Maybe this is a way how to kind of publicly force me to say, fuck Complex, even though we haven't started dealing, or even there's no official conversation with Revolt. You say, fuck Complex, I'm leaving. I'm just going to hope something works out with Revolt, even though they haven't even reached out. But because you could possibly set up something as you're the executive producer, And now you force me because now the internet's like, yo, Akademiks dumb. He just want to be on Twitch. He just want to be sipping Henny. He don't want the money. Again, look months later, what has materialized. And that's what that's at that point I say, you know what? I think these conversations with me, when it comes to my career, needs to be had with my family, the people who depend on me, and also with the people like my lawyer, manager, and whoever else that are in my best interest. Never had anything against Charlamagne. Charlamagne is tremendously talented. He's like, I look at him for moves he's made, and I admire them, and I aspire to do a lot of those things, including writing a book, including having late night shows. Those are amazing things. And that's why when I discussed the topic of Tekashi claiming that he didn't know Charlamagne, I said, that's bullshit. This nigga is fucking huge. Would never belittle Charlamagne in that manner. But I do know, you know what I mean, for me, I'm learning this industry shit, and I know some of y'all might be like, whatever. That's why I've kind of like adjusted to this trolling shit a little bit more. Because I used to take everything that came out of niggas' mouths as so fucking serious that it would really piss me off. That's why now when Charlamagne can say, yo, acted blah, 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 like, yo, you in the pool, like, I could complete jokes, I get it, not mad at it at all. And I could start taking jokes, because I used to really fucking like, yo, how could he say this? Like, you're going to have people think of me in a way that's not true. To the point that I realized, yo, you just can't protect your image completely. Like, bro, you're at the point, there's going to be dirt. And however it is, you can't fight with the other pigs if you ain't expecting to roll in the mud. And I've learned that. I've accepted that. And that's why, you know what I mean, I could laugh at Tekashi going up there and doing whatever and still not have anything against Charlamagne. If anyone says me and Charlamagne have a beef, that is not true. We texted about it. He said, I don't have a problem with you. By the way, there's no beef on my side. I said, dog, there's no beef on my side either. And Charlamagne, I will always give him the respect. He was a mentor of mine. He gave me a lot of jewels when I was on the road coming up. I do think it's at a certain point where I do think career moves, he might not be the best person to ask for advice, because, again, it's cool when you're in AAA baseball asking a major leaguer for advice. And I'm not trying to give an ego thing or act like I'm too big or anything. And it's cool when the person playing elementary basketball is asking LeBron for advice. Probably a little bit different if you're also in the league, and I'm not saying you're the fucking MVP, but you trying to put up some points yourself. Okay? And that's all I would say. So if anybody said me and him are beefing, by the way, well, actually, I really don't give a fuck if I say we're beefing, because that's like fucking, it's like, these days it's all about trolling clickbait. Fuck it, we beefing, I don't know. But I have nothing against him, and I have the utmost respect for him, but I will correct him. And I will challenge him. And some of you guys might see this as kind of new, but if Charlamagne is to be honest with himself, I have challenged him a lot of times when we used to talk privately. Like, me and him, I remember the Dame Dash interview. Me and him, we talked for hours and days about it. And I challenged him about a lot of stuff with that, because I could see a lot of stuff what Dame Dash was talking about, because I'm a guy who came up from YouTube and I own everything I have. So it resonated with me, some of the things Dame Dash was saying. Maybe not all the methods, but a lot of stuff he said resonated. And Charlamagne has his own opinion because of where he came from. And we have that back and forth. And again, it's always respectful. There's going to be joking in between. Like, we're not fucking dry personalities. He's going to have his jokes of me. I'm going to have my jokes of him. You know what I mean? I've kind of refrained from certain type of jokes just because, like, you know what I mean? I do look up to these people. But, like, I kind of feel like we could do it playfully, but it's not on some shit like we hate each other. So that's just all I wanted to say. I heard this and I was like, oh man, I can't wait to respond to it. If it was anyone else but Charlamagne, I would not be fucking giving them this time. And if I didn't have the utmost respect for him, I wouldn't be doing it. And also, if I didn't disagree as much as I did, I probably wouldn't be doing it. So I hope you guys take all that into account. And that's it. I don't think they said anything else, even though I'm not even through half the podcast. But I do have to go. I'm about to record a hit in the studio, bro. Let me see.
Let's pay some bills.
Just take a guess. Hollywood likes to act like they're this
Going on TV now, right? Reality, other reality stars. I'm going for
Yo. Ability of these.
Okay, so it looks like that was the only part. So I just had to get that out. And whatever you guys take from it, just please take that we're having a dialogue publicly, but please don't take that we're beefing. Okay? Or actually, no. Please take that we're beefing, because that's more clickbait. Me, yeah, we beefing. We beef. Fuck it, we beefing. All right, guys, I love y'all so much. I was going to stream tonight, but I can't stream. I literally have to go to the studio right about now. I'm about to record a song. I'm going to record songs again tomorrow. I have a music video shoot tomorrow, Saturday. And after that, pretty much, I'll be back to my regular streaming schedule, okay? But if you guys didn't get the announcement, Everyday Struggle has taken a mid-season break for reasons that I'll probably be able to explain later on, maybe not now. But we're on a mid-season break for a couple of weeks, which, again, puts me more back in focus with my content, my streams, you guys, my chat niggas, and I'm not fucking torn a million different directions. Plus, I have a couple other shows that I'm working on as well, okay? So, I just want to get over here and do all that, but still say thank you to y'all. I'm getting out of here, and if y'all do have any questions or if there was inconsistencies in what I said, shit, fuck it. Destroy me in the comment section on YouTube, okay? All right, I'm out.